Hey David, welcome. Testing out a new chat overlay here, so there may be some changes while we go along here. As I get it right, there's a much more noticeable delay with this one than my last one, but if the text is a little small, if it's too hard to read or anything like that, please do let me know and I'll see if I can make some adjustments here while we're going. I want to try and sort things out as much as I can while I get familiar with a new program. I may just increase the font size right now. Good question. No, Raphael will not show up at your camp if you talk to him ever. During the, I think it's episode 5 or 6. I'd have to go back and look. I discussed the 3 different locations where Raphael can spawn in the overworld. And the trick is the first time that you go to those locations, you split your party apart and have one person approach and engage him with conversation and keep the rest of your party back. And then when you get a break in the conversation and you have access to the icons in the lower left-hand corner, you can swap to a different party member and attack him from outside the conversation, and he will disappear. Now, you'd never know which one of those 3 locations he's going to spawn in. So whenever you approach them for the first time, you need to take the precautions, because in the honor mode, the first honor mode playthrough, I did not do that, and he spawned when I was unprepared for him. And all of my party members got brought into conversation, so I wasn't able to swap out to anybody outside the conversation to attack him. But that's the only way that you can get him to spawn in your camp, is if the first time you encounter him, you have one person start the conversation with him, and then you attack him from outside of the conversation, and he will disappear in a poof of smoke, and then he will appear in your camp when you enter the mountain pass. Hey Andy, welcome. As far as the health goes, my voice is still a little bit messed up. I think I'm past it all. It's kind of weird. I didn't have a cough for a few days, but now I've developed one again. I hope I'm not getting rebound COVID. But yeah, I think I'm doing okay for now. Yeah, David, that's right. When the first time, remember, we reset the honor mode playthrough soon after that, because I went through the mountain pass without consulting my notes, and it had killed Halson and all of that stuff. All the quests got messed up. So I replayed off stream a new honor mode playthrough just to get us back up to that point. And then that time, I believe he spawned up at the Harper stash during that playthrough. And I engaged him up there. But yeah, the first time I did it when he spawned near Alfira, I was unprepared for him to spawn there. So all of my party members got drawn into combat. So I wasn't able to attack him from outside of combat. So there's probably a discontinuity in there that I think I explained at the beginning of the next live stream after that, where I reset the honor mode playthrough, but I could be wrong. I mean, technically, any time that you've gotten him into that state where he's going to show up at your camp, you don't have to go through any. I mean, you don't have to get his armor if you don't want to. That's just a cheese that the community has figured out after that to get it in Act 1. I mean, it certainly is a help all the way through. I mean, it's some of the best armor in the game, especially since you don't have to be proficient in heavy armor to wear it. But yeah, it's certainly useful. If you've played 40 hours, though, there's no real point in going back and replaying it all. And yeah, David, that's kind of one of the funny parts, is that for the rest of the playthrough, every time we meet him, he's going to have all the bruises of getting his beat down. So. Oh, well, thanks, Andy. I mean, I'm a completionist at heart. I always have been. I don't know everything about this game, but I do take my time to read through the forums and that sort of stuff to learn about new ways to do things. I don't do exploits, so like the exploit where I can, get an entire vendor's inventory for free. I don't do stuff like that, but if it's cheese, then yeah, in my honor mode playthrough, I'm showing cheese. In my balanced mode playthroughs, I don't. The game's too easy on balanced mode, honestly, so I don't worry about it too much. But yeah, on the honor mode playthrough, I might as well show you how to get the most out of it and make it a little easier for you. If you can get legendary weapons and armor and that sort of stuff up front. Sometimes it does take a lot of work, especially when I was with COVID. It was really hard playing like 6 hours of prep time on my tactician mode playthrough to take all my notes and replay and restart and reset and get everything worked out, and then do it for 3 more hours on my honor mode playthrough, my off-stream honor mode playthrough, to make sure everything worked right, because there are differences, of course. And then getting ready, and then adjusting my notes and getting ready for the live stream honor mode playthrough here on Saturdays. That's what I have to do every week. So this week, Thursday night, I played for 5 hours on tactician mode. Took all sorts of notes about today. And then last night, I played for 2.5 hours. Or 2.5 to 3 hours on my honor mode playthrough, made sure everything worked right, like I expected. And then, even this morning, I played another 30 minutes of my off-stream honor mode playthrough, just to make sure if I got farther than expected today, I'd know what was coming. Thanks for the appreciation, everybody. Thank you very much. I mean, I do love playing the game. I always have, so I've said multiple times, if it starts to feel like work, every time I start the game up, then I won't play the game anymore. And there are times here when it does feel like work, especially when I had COVID. It really felt like work. But that was just because of outside circumstances. And then when I boot the game up, you know, the next day and I feel better, I'm like, oh, this is great. I love playing it. So for me, it's just playing the game. And for y'all's benefit, all I have to do is hit a button that says go live. And that makes it fun for me. We're going to get into a lot of stuff today. And there's going to be some serious note-taking that y'all are going to have to do in in the replay here, because it's going to be interesting. I spent a lot of time looking through the forums and doing testing on my own to get these things to work that we're going to do today. So it should be a good time. Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode number 19 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Honor Mode gameplay series. I'm Commander Jarval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, on a couple of admin notes, one about the stream in general, YouTube updated their chat sometime here in the past couple of weeks, and as a result, my stream overlay broke last week. So I mentioned that during the Bard playthrough that I was going to be experimenting this week with a new chat overlay. I've had to go to Stream Elements. I don't necessarily care for Stream Elements or Streamlabs, just because I don't like giving another company control of everything and access to everything on my YouTube channel. But the CSS generators no longer work with YouTube chat. So having the transparent chat that would pop up and disappear after a while, that was no longer functional. So I've had to go to Stream Elements, which I'm testing out, and I've got an overlay set up to display chat live in the stream. There is a much more noticeable delay in it. So normally where it was about 10 to 12 seconds, I don't know if that's expanded up to 20-ish seconds or something like that. I see your chat pop up in YouTube Studio, and then about 5 seconds later it will pop up in OBS, and then another 10 to 12 seconds after that it will pop up in my YouTube Studio preview of the stream, which indicates what you guys are seeing. So there may be a little bit more delay in chat. There's been a lot of questions about it online. Nobody's really answered it. I think it's just an internet delay thing, because things now have to go out to Streamlabs, come back to me to OBS, go back out to YouTube. So I think there's just some added delay in all of that. But I'm going to keep experimenting with it. And as I keep experimenting with it, you may see changes to the channel. As I get a little more professional and decide to hire somebody to do banners and logos and that sort of stuff, you may see some of those things pop up in the streams as well. But for now, if you have any problems with the chat overlay, not the delay, nothing I can do about that right now, but if it's too hard to read or if the font's too small or anything like that, then please do drop me a comment. I'm able to pretty easily adjust it on the fly. And that sort of stuff. So if we do have a problem, please let me know. I'd like to get it as best as I can. So on another admin note, my voice is still a little bit messed up. You can probably hear it. And I will be muting the mic every once in a while to cough and or clear my throat, get rid of some of this congestion I've still got from COVID. But thankfully, the worst of that is over. I developed a cough again this morning. I'm hoping I'm not rebounding on COVID, but we'll see how it goes here. I'm hopeful that I'm past it, but if I am rebounding, then I'll just deal with it like I always do, and I'll keep you all apprised and we'll go from there. So on our recap, at the end of last week's episode, we were working our way through the Rosimorn Monastery, and we had dealt with the kobolds. I got frustrated last week because of how that fight went, and was just tired of it. And I made a mistake. Well, I didn't make a mistake. It acted differently this time than it had in my testing with the eagles. So the eagles are now on the roof. They're hostile to us. We're going to go clear them out today. We're going to deal with the Gremishka today, and then we're going to head into the Creche and deal with the Zaith'isk and with the Inquisitor. So let's go ahead and jump right in here. And hey, Rudy, welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here. Okay, so here we are outside, and one of the things that you can see is that I do have a level up waiting for me. So I'm going to level up right now. We're going to be spending a lot of time at Withers today. So it doesn't really matter what I choose for this level up, but we'll go ahead and get it out of the way. Okay, so Bard level 7 gets us access to level 4 spells. Now, the only one in here that's really useful for me at this point is Greater Invisibility. There are some pretty hefty cheeses with Greater Invisibility, Pass Without Trace, and a Rogue's ability to have really high stealth scores. And if you want to go look, you can do a search for Baldur's Gate 3 Stealth Archer build, and there will be some builds out there that talk about how all that works. I'm not going to be doing that for my Bard here. So in addition to that, Dimension Door can be very useful for quick escapes in Honor Mode. It has a really long range to it, and if you get into trouble, it can possibly allow you to move out of, or move farther enough away and be able to flee combat. So that's something that can be very useful in Honor Mode. Freedom of movement is good, especially in certain encounters. For the most part, it's not necessarily all that great. But like I say, in certain encounters, it's almost a must-have. And we'll see some of that when we get into Act 2, especially, where we can get paralyzed by several different enemies, and that can end an Honor Mode playthrough really quickly. So for me at level 4 here for Bard, it doesn't really do as much. So I'm going to start my multi-class with my Bard. Now, I would really kind of do this earlier on, because this whole build isn't going to come really online until I get to, probably level 9, if I have to guess. But I can bring aspects of it online earlier. So part of my respec is going to be kind of showcasing that. But for now, for my cantrips, Bone Chill is very nice, and Eldritch Blast, my subclass. The subclass doesn't really matter nearly as much. I do prefer the Great Old One. Mortal Reminder is really good, and having access to these two spells by default and not having to use a spell slot on them can be very, very useful. Because there's not a whole lot else that you can get out of here if you're going for your crowd control type Bard. I, however, am not going for a crowd control type Bard. So for me, I would take Hex and Hellish Rebuke. Hex just for the extra damage rider, which is always nice, and Hellish Rebuke because I can use my reaction now to deal damage. So that's how I would build this out, but again, I'm not really too interested in these level ups at this point. Lae'zel is going to be going a very different way after this. So for my maneuvers, I had taken riposte, pushing, and menacing attack. So for here, trip attack is very nice, and then we have a group that allows you or your allies to hit more often. And distracting strike is one. You distract your target, giving your allies advantage on their next attack roll against the target. So if you're having trouble with an enemy who's got a 20 armor class or something like that, and you know that encounter's coming up, then distracting strike can be very good for that. If you're just focused on you gaining advantage, then fainting attack is what allows you to do that. The difference is that you don't gain the 1d8 extra damage on distracting strike because all of your party members gain advantage. With fainting attack, you gain advantage for yourself only, and you gain a 1d8 damage. The way I tend to go about it is with precision attack. This allows me to roll the die and add it to my attack roll. So it's similar to fainting attack, except I have a larger possible additive number to that attack roll. So it's either between fainting attack and precision attack in the way that I go. Again, it doesn't really matter for me at this point. Okay, and for Gale, again, things are going to entirely change here, but the difference really is gaining wizard spells or gaining more sorcery points. I'm also going to unlock my level 4 spells, or my level 3 spells with sorcerer here, so I'm going to have access to some really decent spells for Gale to have. But for the most part, I don't really care much about what these are. Because like I say, all these are going to change. Now, Astarion is going to get a fairly major upgrade here. And that is his subclass choice. So we went the way of Rogue first to get access to the Thief subclass to gain the additional bonus action. We leveled up to level 4 so that we could get the feat immediately after that, which was Tavern Brawler. And now we're going to go way of the open hand. This is going to give me my Flurry of Blows options, where now I can topple, stagger, or push an enemy. And this is where things really start to get a big combat increase for him. It's going to get even bigger when stun gets added to this, but that's a bit down the line. So for now, adding these abilities to it, very similar to things you would see with Battlemaster maneuvers, that I can now do with Astarion. Okay, so just as a reminder kind of where we are going to go back to the roof. We're also going to deal with the Gremishkas here. But in doing that, we're going to go back to the roof
Pave my path with
first.
corpses, build my castle with bones.
This is going to be a bit tricky because most of our access to the roof has been cut off. This is where the kobolds were. Okay, we have access up to the second floor right here. Or as Europeans would call it, the first floor. Now you can see the eagles up here on the roof. And there are a few ways to get there. I didn't want to do that. That's the Gremishka room. I don't want to go in there yet. Actually, you know, I might go in there and deal with the Gremishkas first. I normally deal with the Gremishkas here because I can limit how many of them can attack me at one time. But to do that, you have to gain access to the roof and then jump down this way to get into this room back here. You can also do the reverse of that. You can enter this room, jump up here, and with high enough strength, you can jump up to the roof. But I wouldn't be able to do it with all, like, now that I think about it, I wouldn't be able to do it with all of my characters because I don't have a high enough strength. But here's what I mean. There is... I don't know if I'll be able to see it. I can't. There's an eagle right at the top of this knotted root. The other way up, which is over here, right here, the ancient eagle is right at the top of this, I believe. We'll go look. We may do...
If everyone else minds their business, I'll be fine.
A pincer movement. Kind of.
Another step forward.
Because, yeah. There's a giant eagle right up here at the top of this one. Okay, so the ancient giant eagle's looking the other way. But I think another one is sitting right here. So the hazard with the giant eagles is your initiative, where you roll in the order, and whether or not you get blown off of this rooftop, because they have a gust attack. So I'm going to go ahead and try and climb up here with my bard and kind of see how it goes. Probably going to get right into combat here, and much will depend on my initiative roll. Okay, so I rolled first, and here is the other knotted roots right here. So I might be able to come up behind these two. So let's go check with Astarion if we can do that, because I couldn't see him, so I couldn't plan it out. So let's climb these and see where we end up. I can't see the detection cones up there. One in the back is overlaying this area. He's not. So now I have access to the roof here. Okay. So what do I have? I do have the gloves of cinder and sizzle. Okay. Let's go ahead and start this off with Astarion here and see where he ends up in combat. Alright. I'm going to bring everybody else up this set of ladders. Or this set of roots.
Unheard, unseen.
I'm not as worried about my bard over there by herself. I'm just going to maneuver her so that she gets away from the edge. And with 39 hit points, yeah, Astarion's not going to be able to take out 39. Okay. Immediately. Now that I think about it, I should have just taken Shovel up there. I tend to forget about Shovel because this is my first playthrough where I've really utilized him. Okay, and now let's see if actually Shovel can get the kill. Oh, it killed him. Actually, perfect. I'm gonna keep Shovel back out of the way here. Actually, it doesn't matter. Shovel's invisible. Okay, so remember, I have an armor class of 25 here, so I'm gonna be somewhat difficult to hit. Now, as far as the Eagles go, they do have a high strength, so they're getting a +5 to their attacks here when they roll. But I'm going to try and maneuver myself more into here. And that's going to mean I'm going to provoke an attack of opportunity here.
Can't slow down.
Okay. And every time I do that and they miss, they're going to go reeling. So they're going to have a -1 to attack rolls for every time that they miss, and it's actually -2 because they've got 2 turns of reeling now active. Now, I don't think my slashing flourish can hit both of these. Oh, it can. Okay, so I'll get my attacks off here then. And I missed both times. Jeez. Rolled a 4 and a 1. Of course. So now I'm just going to kind of maneuver myself in between these two. Okay. She rolled really well. What did she roll, by the way? 17. Okay, can't really argue with that. Just to get myself away from the edges, so if they use their Gust ability, or their Gale ability, I'm not getting knocked off the roof. That ability right there. Because that's what happens with Gale, is once you're prone, they can use multi-attack on you. Which is not cool. Okay, so here we're going to focus down these one at a time. Okay, so... Well, Astarion will just take that one out by himself. Okay. You know, that's an interesting question. She's calling for reinforcements. She already called for reinforcements once, but then we exited combat and came back, and she's calling for them again. I wonder if I'm going to get 5 more giant eagles show up, because things could get really sporty then. I want to give them disadvantage on their attacks. And now he's got 1 hit point left. So let's bring Shovel in here to try and get rid of that 1 hit point. Oh.
A tale for the ages.
I would prefer for Gale to not be there. I'm just thinking this through. Because I only have a bonus action left, and I'm going to have to heal Gale. I don't have a choice. I'm looking to see if I have... Nope, just greater. Okay. So let's see if we can get rid of this one with a pommel strike. Okay, good. Okay, so let's get back in here. Ancient Giant Eagle. I am going to proc Luck of Far Realms here. Okay. So, we'll see if we get 5 more Giant Eagles that show up. That's what Riposte is good at. Not gonna waste it on him. It shouldn't. I should be able to maneuver here without provoking an attack of opportunity. Okay, so he's toppled. See if we can get rid of this one. Alright. Now I'm going to move in preparation for reinforcements coming. Because I'm going to get one here and one here.
A better position.
Okay, so I did not get more reinforcements. Which is good. Could have handled it, but again, things just get a little bit sporty at that time. Hey, Lord Henry, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Victory awaits. On the move.
And you can see what missing also does to enemies. So
Never a dull moment.
remember, whenever I succeed in a saving throw, the caster receives burning for 3 turns, and that's not just a spell saving throw. In this case, it tried to use its Gale ability, which was a dexterity or a strength saving throw, and I passed it. And that means that since I saved against it, the Ancient Giant Eagle got the burning condition for 3 turns. So as long as I can continue passing saving throws, anybody who casts toward me or uses an ability like that needs a saving throw check, they're going to get the burning condition.
Victory awaits.
Just one other bonus to having the Hell Dusk armor this early in the game. Oh, jeez, how many ones? That's the second nat 1 I've rolled against her. Oh, wow. Out of 6 attacks that I've made against her, I have landed 2. I mean, and they've all been something like 80%. So, I mean, it's horrible. I need to roll a 6 to hit.
I miss this. Don't linger.
And I want to stay out of her detection cone so I can go into... it doesn't matter because she's threatened, right? Yeah. So I'm going to get sneak attack here no matter what. How do I have Luck of the Far Realms again? Didn't I trigger Luck of the Far... Oh no, I triggered it here. Yes. That's right, I triggered it with my Bard, not with Astarion.
Step to it.
Okay, now the Blue Jay is going to come back here in a second. I'm just going to do some searching.
If not over.
There's the
then
Blue
through.
Jay. Where did he go? Where's he going? He's down here for some reason. Okay.
Eyes grow heavy.
I've never seen him go down there before.
there, mate? Feels good to be home in my nest. I wish there was something I could give you in return. Oh, tell you what. When I escaped the eagles, I spotted something buried near that ferry dock. Might be worth a look.
Okay. And that's going to complete the Reclaim the Blue Jay's Nest. Now, what he's talking about is this. There's a hidden dirt mound here. We've already found it, but if you haven't found it or haven't been this way, this just puts a marker on top of it, so that you know where it's at. But we've already finished it, so we don't need his help to find it. One thing that you definitely want to do, though, is you want to pick up all of the eagle feathers. These are crafting ingredients for potions of flying. Which are actually going to be quite useful for us in a couple of sections of Act 2. The Helldusk armor also allows me to cast Fly as a level 3 spell once per long rest. So that's also going to be very useful for us as we go. And now I'm going to group everybody back up here. And make sure before I do any healing that I equip the periaptive wound closure. So this is going to go on Gale first. Now I can swap to Gale. He probably doesn't have any healing on him. And now when I take one of these, the potion of healing does 4 to 10 healing. I'm guaranteed to get 10 out of it. You can see the 10 in the background. Okay, that's what the periaptive wound closure does. Is guarantees you the maximum from all healing sources.
How many die today? How many die tomorrow?
Okay, now there's something else that we're going to want to do up here. We're just not going to do it right this second, because it's going to need us to fast travel afterward. So we'll come back and do it a little bit later. For now, you can see the Gremishka below us. We're going to head this way, search this warrior here.
Fallen Githyanki warrior. A creche must be close.
And we're going to move around this backside here. Now looking at the detection cones, they're a little weird, but none of these do anything up here on the roof. But I'm going to split my group apart. And first with Astarion, jump down here. Okay, they'll just knock me out of hiding. That's all they'll do. And then jump down here. For this, put my thieves gear on.
Let's crack it open. Okay, and On the hunt.
Go into hiding, kind of move back out of the way. Now normally go down here
Let's get in and out.
with my bard. Where am I on? Okay.
Wonder if the gods are watching
Use
me.
my Song of Rest, because this is the last thing that we need to do before we take a long rest. Camera angles get a little weird. You don't want to jump all the way down to the bottom, because if you do, you'll take fall damage.
Don't want to draw any attention.
Okay, and when you go open this door, kind of stand off to the left a little bit, because you can see the detection cones. Now, you want to be standing not all the way at the front, but you want to be standing a little bit closer, kind of right in here. So we're going to start this off. We're going to get a surprise round out of this. Okay, and now Gremishka. So the thing about Gremishka is that they have this condition called magic allergy. They're allergic to magic. If a spell or a cantrip is cast within proximity to them, it might react to the magic and trigger a random effect. This is somewhat similar to like Wild Magic Surge in the things that can happen. Some of them can get really bad, meaning some big explosions and that sort of stuff. Some of them can just get annoying in the buffs that they can offer the Gremishka. So it's best, if you're going to do this, not to use any magic to do this at all. And that means the fight's going to take a little bit longer, because I'm solely relying on melee skills to be able to do it. But this is the best way that I have found to do it. Now I'm going to move just a little bit closer here to the door, so I'm kind of back from the entryway a little bit. And now I'm also going to bring Astarion into this fight. Just going to keep him back a little bit. Now, as far as Lae'zel and Gale go, I'm just going to move them all the way back over here.
Let's get this over with.
I could bring Lae'zel down there as another source of melee damage. It just things get a little crowded down there, honestly, and it's not all of that, all of that worth it at the end of the day, just to add one more ranged attack to it. So I'm moving them out of the way because, just like the goblin camp, you see these holes in the floor. The Gremishka are able to teleport themselves, just like the goblins do, up and down between that bottom floor and this top floor. And sometimes you'll see they're not going to be able to reach me. So some of them will teleport up here thinking that they want to try and reach me from up here somehow. And if your characters are standing up here, they can be brought into combat. And if they do, then all the Gremishkas who cannot physically reach you will try and come up here on the roof to attack your other characters. It's just
No choice but to keep going.
it just turns into a big pain. So the Arcana check is just to let you know what Gremishka are and how they work. So I'm going to do Slashing Flourish ranged. Get rid of these two. Don't know as if I have attacks on anybody else. I don't. I I can move out a little bit, though. I've got more than enough movement. Ooh, nice crit. And now I'll move back in here. Right there. And you should only get one at a time that is able to get close to the door. And with them being next to me, they're threatened, so I gain sneak attack damage every time. Okay, so not a whole lot of opportunities for a slashing flourish. Slashing flourish ranged is so good.
Let's have some fun.
Never sleep on that ability. I've said it before, but don't sleep on that ability. Alright, perfect. And now make sure that you go around and pick up all the crafting supplies, because every one of them has Gremishka tails that are for crafting the Wizard's Bane oil, which I haven't been utilizing very much here, but there is going to be more of a use for it in the Creche. And you'll kind of see that play out. Maybe today, but definitely next week. Okay, so while I'm in here, just do some quick searching around. Back here in the back is a recipe for a potion of animal speaking. Just read it to get access to it. Then you can pick the book up afterward.
Moving ahead.
There are 3 Gremishka nests. Have some crafting supplies and various
What's
loot in
inside?
them. I believe there's also some scrolls. Yes.
What now? Over
Okay, so
there.
we'll take Astarion. Actually, Astarion, while you're here, need you to search the stuff inside. Yep, got unlucky on the scroll rolls there. And as always, sending explosive stuff off to camp.
Hardly a challenge.
Hey Martin, welcome to the stream. Sorry I missed your comment. Yeah, I know. It's it's kind of funny. As a cat owner myself, yeah, that is kind of funny. But yeah, no, hey, knowing some of the things that my cats have gotten into, yeah, I will completely agree with it can be really bad. I swear, my male cat especially, he just, oh, he does my head in sometimes. Okay, and here is the barricade from the outside that I mentioned when we first came here. You can climb the roots here by the waypoint, jump over, destroy this barricade, and jump into this room and prosecute the fight that way as well. So there are multiple ways to go about this. I just, again, tend to block them up in the doorway. There's a rare chance that they will jump past you into the room, so you might get one or two maybe that jump into the room with you. But for the most part, you only get one at a time that comes to attack you, so it makes it relatively easy to kind of hold the door, as made famous by Game of Thrones.
Let's move.
So we're going to now head back up to the
Don't
top,
touch
and
me.
for Astarion,
One
that's easy.
step at a time.
Because of his high strength, he's able to jump up,
All
back
is
up to the
ashen
top
meat.
without any problem. For me, it is not that
I'll give it a
easy,
shot.
so I'm going to take the long way around.
They should all be running.
And these are just the doors that lead into that same room right where we were. I can't pick that one up. I'll miss one fire wine barrel. I'm sure I'll survive. Head back around the back here and head up the knotted roots. Oh, I forgot. We do have an eagle here that's knocked out, right? No, we don't. We killed it. I was thinking about the one with the pommel strike. So down here in this one, you're going to be able to get a couple of potions. Replace some of what we used. Actually, replace exactly what we used. And we're going to head back up here. You can move over here and you'll get a conversation or dialogue about this.
Looks like it would have made a powerful weapon.
So this is the lance that they were talking about in the talking head down below that said they must hold the line while they prepare the lance. The lance, they were not able to fire it in time. Spoiler alert. But it's still active. And if you don't do something that we're going to do here in a minute, that lance will fire. And things will get really fun. Where is Gale? Oh, they're hidden.
Ah, an excellent choice. It shall be done.
Intestines throb, blood whispers.
Okay, and this is why I have Featherfall as a ritual spell for me. So everybody can get down here.
How delicious.
Astarion
Let's go.
can move this way and jump across. Should be a pouch here with a healing potion in it. There won't be anything else up here. But again, it is very picturesque, no doubt. Now we'll make our way over here. Jump across to this side. There's a painted chest. This is going to have the Holy Lance Helm. Now this is a staple of the Reverberation Illuminating Orb build, in that anyone who misses their attack rolls must make a dexterity saving throw or take 1d4 radiant damage. When that radiant damage procs, if you have other items that work off of dealing radiant damage, you can then proc Radiating Orb, or, Radiating Orb. And then since that's a condition, if you have the other item that upon condition imparts reverberation, you can then impart reverberation on that target as well. So we'll see this in the Shadowheart build that we put together. But for now, it's not useful for anybody that I'm going to have. Now, the only way off of here is to... I could Featherfall again and jump down to one of these other locations. You don't really have to, though. You can just group everybody up and fast travel off the roof.
Breathe deep and move.
So now let's look at our inventory. Once we get over here, we'll look at our inventory real quick. Because we picked up the ceremonial warhammer. That was the last of the 3 ceremonial items that we needed to pick up. So we're going to move over toward this area, but before we do it, we're going to take a long rest. Okay, so you can see we have the other 2 ceremonial weapons that we found, placed on the correct pedestals. The ceremonial longsword was always there. This is where the ceremonial warhammer goes, straight across from the guy holding the warhammer, and that's how they all work. The guy holding the warhammer is here. The guy holding the longsword is here. This one you can't see. His weapon's broken off, but by process of elimination, you can learn it's the battle axe. And then here, this Dawn Master isn't holding a weapon, but you learn from his name that he was the one that uses the mace. Okay? But it's important that you don't place this until you are ready to go to the Creche. You're going to get a buff as soon as you place that weapon on there that only lasts until you take a long rest. So you may as well make sure that you've got your party set on who you want to take into the Creche and who you want to use throughout the Creche, and then that you've taken a long rest before you place it so that you have the benefits of that buff when you go into the Creche. So we're going to take a long rest here. We will quickly talk to our camp members here. There's not a whole lot of conversation to be had.
Hey, soldier, well, I'm not feeling so good. My engine is getting worse. Feels like it's going to burst out of my chest. We need to catch up with Damon. See if he's thought of a way to fix this thing. If it can be fixed. I'm sure we will. But in case we don't, a bit of advice. You leave your left flank wide open. If I'm ever not around to cover it, you may find yourself on the wrong side of a goblin spear one of these days.
Very true, and thank you very much for the warning.
Something's on my mind.
My favorite traveling companion.
Hey, nothing new from Astarion.
What's on your mind?
Or Gale.
Well met.
You wish to speak?
Okay, so we'll head down here, talk to Shadowheart and Lae'zel, and then we'll finish our long rest.
I can't believe I'm actually venturing into a Gith stronghold again, voluntarily. This had better pay off. I wish I shared your confidence. They must want that artifact back badly, if they're dispatching red dragons in pursuit of it. But we cannot afford to lose it. I wish I'd never been sent on this mission. Yes. And she acts as Lady Shah's voice amongst mortals. She must be doing the Night Singer's bidding. I just don't know what it all means. All will be revealed in due time. I hope.
Okay, nothing new there, and last is Lae'zel. Oh,
The Creche must be
okay.
nested in that temple. Our cure is close.
Okay, nothing new there. I thought for a second she was going to path and jump down here and fall to her death like we've seen before. Okay. So let me take one last look here through our traveler's chest. So looks like this chest is the latest one. And I've got a trash bag sitting in here that I can't move. Okay. So I just want to look through the items real quick and make sure that I'm not leaving something behind that I need. And we are actually going to change this back for Astarion. We're going to put the sparkle items back on for him. And there's a very specific reason for that. And we do want to bring along just some other pair of not armor for me. Okay, and yes, that is it. Okay, so let's end our day.
Blood hurts.
Okay, we've got a persuasion check here for this. Please don't fail it. Okay. I need my inspirations here. Well, I don't, actually, but you never know.
Look, cut
Good. Strong. Teeth. Claws. Bigger. Strong. Fight. Win. Kill. No. Strong. Show you.
Adorable. Let me know when it brings you something fresh.
Okay, so now we're going to go to bed for real. And before we talk to Scratch, and now the owlbear cub is permanently in our camp.
The dog is unable to speak through the small bag he holds in his mouth.
I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. All I know is I thought of you when I saw it.
Rolled well on the loot table there and got a potion of healing out of it. Because Scratch is the goodest boy. I'm not a dog person, but I can appreciate pets. And taking a quick look around. No icons over anybody's head, so we should be free to leave camp. Now for Astarion, I need to make sure that he has his elixirs.
I've got a long road ahead.
Get Longstrider back up for everybody. Shovel can go invisible.
No one back home will ever believe this.
And now we are ready to place this item.
Dream in red.
Now that does two things. First, it opens up this area here and gives you access to this pouch. And in this pouch is a note that says, the blood is secure. We've learned earlier that's talking about the blood of Lathander. We closed it off with magic. Only one of our own can take it. If anyone else tries, the walls will fall and they won't get out of here alive. Okay? This is what I meant about the lance. If you don't go through this and solve this puzzle, and you don't get the crest
This blood sounds
here, you can still take the blood of Lathander. However, it will then start a timer in which you have to get out of the monastery before the lance activates and destroys the entire monastery. Right? So it's in your best interest, I will say, to make sure this is done before you go down into the Creche, because the Blood of Lathander is down in the Creche. The second thing it did is give everybody Morninglord's Radiance. Your weapon attacks deal an additional 1d4 radiant damage. Now, you're going to notice that everybody's weapons are glowing, right? And they all get 1d4 radiant damage additional to them. Now, it's not weapon specific, so if I take that off and I just put a regular dagger on, that dagger is going to have 1d4 radiant damage. So it's not restricted to what weapon you have active at the time. It's all weapons that you are carrying at the time that that you get the buff. Okay. So now that we've got it, that lasts until the long rest. Okay, it doesn't say on it, but yes, that condition is going to last until long rest. That's why you want to make sure you long rest right before you you complete this puzzle. And I might, Andy, and I'm going to... Actually, let's not go here first. Let's go to the monastery. Remind me of it in just a second, because I don't know if I've done the stuff down here or not. I don't know if I've searched this room or not. It looks like I have. Okay. So I was leaving it on just in case I hadn't searched this, because I'd need it to unlock these. But now that I don't... And I'm going to swap this out for lightning charges again. So I'm giving up the 1d4 fire damage with every strike to gain 1 lightning damage with every strike. The possibility, and we'll gain 2 lightning charges and then get a lightning burst. The main thing about it, though, is that I'm going to have a +1 bonus to spell save DC with the Protective Sparks Wall, and I'm going to gain 1 bonus to armor class and to saving throws, as long as I have lightning charges, and that's the important part. I don't care about the spell save DC part. My armor class dropped to 16 when I took off Graceful Cloth, but as soon as I get it back, lightning charges back, it's going to go back to 17. And then I gain +1 for saving throws, and you're going to need them down here. The second thing is that while imbued with lightning charges, attacks against metal constructs and foes wearing metal armor gain advantage. Again, that's going to be important because some of the Githyanki are hard to hit. And this is going to... But they're all wearing metal armor. So this is going to give me advantage on all of my hits as long as I have lightning charges. So that's why I'm swapping out to this. I'm not giving up anything in damage from an average standpoint, and I'm gaining a better ability to hit. Don't think I picked up the helmet where I fought the eagles.
Moving in.
We'll go up and look. We're right here, and we need to fast travel after this anyway, so... Yeah, I got it. You mean the holy lance helm, right? Right there. Yeah, I moved it to Shadowheart. I sent it directly to her inventory. This is the one you get out of the painted chest up here. that we looted a little bit ago. I moved it directly to her when I picked it up. I didn't put it in any of my inventories. I moved it directly to her. Because, yeah, she's got the... Oh, no, that's perfectly fine. Like I say, don't... chat, don't ever fear to remind me about something that I might have already done, because 9 times out of 10, I will have forgotten to do it. You guys are far more right than wrong on any of this stuff, so please, I really appreciate it. Because, yeah, this is what goes with the luminous armor. So, when someone misses me, they make a dexterity saving throw. If they fail it, they take radiant damage. When they take radiant damage, it causes a radiant shockwave, which puts radiating orb on everybody. And then radiating orb is a condition. So when I've inflicted a condition upon that creature, they also get 2 turns of reverberation. There's also some gloves that we're going to pick up here in a little bit in the Creche, called the gloves of, or the gloves of belligerent skies, which finish out, not finish out because there's a ring that goes along with it, but that almost finishes out the build for the reverberation illuminating orb build, or radiating orb build. So now we're going to fast travel back to Trailful Crags because we want to clear out our inventory before we go in here. We're carrying a bunch of stuff. Let's talk to Lady Esther.
I trust that an early payment has... Very well, but I'll make note of how much time...
She normally doesn't have a huge amount of gold on her. I want to save part 1 of this. Yeah, I'm going to save part 1 of Orpheus, Prince of the Comet. There's a specific dialogue option we can get later on if we have it. Okay, and I think there might be probably a Githyanki short sword or something sitting around in here somewhere, maybe. Okay, so no, there's not. So, I had picked up everything out of her inventory except for Hoppy. I don't think... Oh, except for these 3 items. Hoppy, the Boots of Elemental Momentum, and the Gloves of Baneful Striking. I don't need them for anything. They don't fit any of my builds. And I think they're fairly mediocre items in and of themselves. So let's look and see. Potion of Flying I don't need. The Harlequin black and white dye is really nice looking. Sure, why not? I'm a little vain this way. Okay, so we'll balance the offer there.
Happy, are we? Very well, then.
And I already have the Harlequin black and white on the boots. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to change anything. Oh, and I forgot to sell the chain shirt +2. Probably can't afford it anyway. And yes, that's exactly what we're going to start getting into here, Lord Henry, because now we're going to make our way into the Githyanki Creche. And we're going to spend some time at Withers when we do this, because I'm going to show you how to get a... You cannot get a 100% chance to pass all of the checks in the Zaith'isk. However, I can get it so that it is 99.75% chance of being able to pass it. The only way to fail it will be with double nat ones. It's taken a lot of testing between me and some other content creators to work this method out. But it's kind of a combination of a few things that are out there, and it expands upon the guide in the wiki, which only gets you an 80% chance to pass it. I can guarantee it, except for double nat ones. So we're gonna make our way in here.
Just so.
And we're gonna get a save as soon as we come in.
Onward.
Sentries to arms! Istik, state your purpose quickly. Stand down, Gish. Is it not Vlaakith's command to welcome her faithful? I expected no visitors, faithful or otherwise. Why have you come? We seek the Zaith'isk. Show me the way. You are infected. A gate thrall is something to eradicate, not reason with. The faithful may be purified. This is Vlaakith's protocol. Fine. Let the Gustil carry out your fate. Report to the infirmary at once. And step carefully. Creche watches you.
Okay, so now we're inside the creche here, and we're gonna make our way directly to the Zaith'isk. We're not going to look at anything else in here.
Have to keep going.
We're gonna make our way directly to the Zaith'isk.
I heard they're making us join the patrol.
With one exception, we are going to open up the waypoint.
So freely.
The Zaith'isk is over on this side, and it's over here. It's where the quest marker is. You go to the infirmary.
No doubt they found me too intimidating.
Seems simple enough.
We're going to come into the room here and close the door behind us. It's important that you close the door behind you and that every one of your party members is inside the room. We're going to go into hiding. The second thing it's important to do here is not talk to the Gustil. All right, you do not want to engage her in conversation. We're going to, one way or another, you're going to end up killing the Gustil. If you're RPing this, you find out that the Gustil is trying to get you killed anyway, basically, because the Zaith'isk doesn't do what everyone has told the Githyanki that it does. The Zaith'isk is a way to extract tadpoles, but it doesn't leave you alive. It kills you while trying to do it. And that's evidenced by the fact that there's a Mind Flayer parasite there. There are two more over here. Okay? And this is just a way to extract those so that the Gustil can study them. But the Githyanki or whoever is infected dies. Right? So from a role-playing perspective, killing her now, it's 6 of one, half dozen the other. And if you leave her alive and go through this, she's going to become hostile anyway. And as soon as you leave the room, you're going to have to fight her. So we're going to have to fight her one way or another. So I'm going to fight her here where it gives me a benefit. And I'm going to start this off with a sneak attack from Shovel. And I'm actually going to move over here, just in case she turns. I don't think she will. Okay. And I'm going to try not to waste too much action economy on her. From this point on, I'm trying to preserve as much action economy as I can.
The end comes.
There's a parasite nearby. You should take a closer look.
Okay, you no longer have to be in hiding, but now that you've left the door closed, everybody out here is oblivious to what just happened. Alright? So I'm gonna go through here and pick up some things. The reason we killed her is for the Aberration Hunter's Amulet. If you're a Githyanki and you're wearing this, you have advantage on intelligence saving throws. Okay? That's very important for the operation of the Zaith'isk. So we're going to take that with us. Might as well pick up the Mind Flayer parasites. And like I say, there's 2 more over here. We're going to search this room after we're done with the Zaith'isk.
Brimming with magic. Take it.
Alright. And now we have a set of ways to go through to maximize our chances. Operating the Zaith'isk can award you with the Awakened buff. The Awakened buff allows you to use all of your Mind Flayer abilities, not as actions, like this one says it is, but as bonus actions. That can be incredibly useful to be able to have access to all of these powers while still maintaining all of your regular actions to do other things. So it's a very important thing to have. However, you need to pass 3 saving throws to get that buff. The first is a DC 12 intelligence saving throw. The second is a DC 15 wisdom saving throw. And the third is a DC 18 saving throw that you have a choice on based upon your character class. So it can be a straight up intelligence choice, but you're also going to have another option that's still DC 18 for if you're a fighter to do a constitution save, or if you're a rogue to do a dexterity save. Wizard, intelligence, cleric, wisdom, etc. A bard, in this case, I would have a charisma save. What we're going to do is basically focus these 3 saving throws into 2 different ability scores. Intelligence and wisdom, and that's it. We don't want to utilize a charisma save or anything like that. We want to focus just on intelligence and wisdom. And to do that, like I said, we're going to be spending some time at Withers here. First thing we're going to do is a respec. So let's take Astarion over here to Withers.
Watch your back.
Make sure he doesn't have any gold.
Ready or not, don't look now. A little souvenir.
Oh, don't do this.
Quick and easy.
And now we're going to respec our bard.
Interesting times.
Thy wheel of fate turns ever to the dark. Dost thou require a new ally? As thou desire.
Okay, and we're going to start this off as Wizard. We're doing this to gain the proficiency bonus to our intelligence saving throws. As far as the spells and cantrips, none of that matters. For our ability scores, however, it does matter. And we're going to put our +1 into wisdom. Our intelligence stays at 17. Our wisdom goes up to 16. Everything else that you have left, place wherever you want. Doesn't matter. Okay? But this is how we want this laid out. Now, there's another way that you can go about doing your ability scores here, based upon how we can change this around a little bit, because our feat is going to come into play here. With this ability score, we're going to get our intelligence up to 19. Now, 19 doesn't do us any good. It's the same as 18. It gives us a +4 bonus. So instead, you can put your +2 into wisdom, or your +1, or your +2 into wisdom. Get it up to 17. Put your +2 here, and you can use your feat then to raise that to 18. If you've gotten here and you're level 8, meaning you've delayed the Zaith'isk until you've taken out everybody here in it, then you can get both of these to 18 and gain an additional +1. You just don't need it. Like I say, the method I've got here is going to get you a 99.75% chance of getting this done. So this is just an easy way to take care of it. Get your intelligence to 17, your wisdom to 16, your skills, none of that matters. And we're going to level up wizard until we get our feat. Okay, now here for your subclass, you might as well take divination. The reason I say that is because you're going to get access to 2 portent dice. If you do roll double nat 1s, the portent dice can give you a way to override that. Now, you may have a really low portent dice rolls on these two that you're going to get, and they might not serve any purpose. You could continue respeccing until you get a 19 or something on one of your portent dice. But I don't, like I say, the only way these would come into effect is if you get that actual 0.25% chance and you roll double nat 1s. Then your portent dice could come into play and give you an additional roll. As far as spells go, none of these matter. Your preparations for spells doesn't matter. We're going to go all through these level ups because none of these matter. And now we get our feat. And again, for our feat here, all we really need to do is get us up to 18. That's the only thing that we need to do. Now, we can do that with ability improvement. We could do this through resilient as well. But again, doesn't really matter. As long as we get it up to 18, we're fine. Cantrips don't matter. Spells don't matter. Now, at level 5, we're going to multi-class. And we're going to add in Cleric. The only important thing here is that you have resistance as your cantrip. Nothing else that you're going to get out of this is necessary for anything. It's just the resistance cantrip. So all the rest of these levels don't really matter. When you come down to the last level, you can go a couple of different ways. So if you plan to bring Shadowheart along with you, which I would recommend that you do, then it doesn't matter what you do at the last level. If you're not bringing Shadowheart along with you, then you change your level up methodology here. You don't go to level 4 wizard, you stop at level 2, and you put the rest in cleric so that you have access to warding bond at level 2 and then Beacon of Hope when you get your level 3 spells. Because you're going to need both of those if you're not bringing Shadowheart along. I would, again, recommend you bring Shadowheart along for this because she's going to have access to them, and you can get those 2 spells done with her. But if not, then this last level, when you're at level 5 here, you're going to be making sure you've prepared Warding Bond and Beacon of Hope. For me, doesn't really matter. I'm not going to utilize any of these because I'm bringing Shadowheart with me. Now I'm going to bring Astarion over again and pickpocket Withers.
Leave no trace. Not even a challenge. Let's have a rummage. Thank you.
And now I'm going to bring Lae'zel over here and respec Lae'zel.
We must speak.
Ah, another. I shall be here in thy camp, as thou desire.
Now for Lae'zel, I'm going to respec her as a paladin. My oath does not matter. My ability scores do not matter. My skill proficiencies do not matter. I am bringing Lae'zel or respecing her as a paladin for one specific purpose, and that is something that Lord Henry mentioned a little bit ago. And we'll see that as we go through our level up here. Okay, fighting style, none of this matters. Okay, for a feat, again, none of this matters. And here at level 6 is where the important part comes in. Because at level 6 you're going to gain Aura of Protection. You and any nearby allies gain a +0 bonus to saving throws. Okay, now that's not a +0. This bonus is based upon your charisma score. So right now I've got a +3 in charisma, which is the minimum that I need it to be. I could have spec'd this around charisma being 18 instead of strength being 18, but you don't need that 18. You don't need the additional +1 there. If you want to, perfectly fine. But again, it's not going to increase your chances above 99.25%. Okay? So as long as you have the base 16 here, which is where I started and then added that 1 during ability improvement to get there, you're going to get a +3 to your aura of protection. And that's all you need. In level 7, for Paladin, again, none of this matters. I just need access to that aura. The last thing that I'm going to do is to...
Yes?
check, and I'm taking the Staff of Arcane Blessing. I'm removing that from Will. Nothing else there is needed. So I'm going to drop Will out of the party and bring Shadowheart in.
A private word would be nice.
So, that's what people mean when they talk about butterflies in their stomach. Did you want something?
I'm not going to have this. That's just because of my respec. I left it on Saluna.
It seems like you have ample company. Lead the way, then.
Okay, and for Shadowheart,
Time to waste.
just do a level up. But level 7 for her doesn't matter. We are going to take this opportunity, though, to prepare our spells. Okay, because we need to make a couple of adjustments here. The first is we need to bring in Warding Bond. Okay, I'm going to drop Bless, because I'm going to be getting Bless from somewhere else. We also need to bring in Beacon of Hope. Beacon of Hope gives us advantage on Wisdom saving throws, which is going to be important here. So, Warding Bond does not take concentration, and it lasts until Long Rest. Beacon of Hope lasts for 10 turns and takes concentration. Okay, important things to remember.
Can't give up now.
And now, I am ready. Let's look at items. Okay. So the first is the Safeguard Shield. This gets you saving throws +1. I'm going to move that here. Next thing is Coralon's Grace. Unhampered resistance. While the wielder is not wearing armor, they receive a +2 bonus to saving throws. Okay, so I'm going to remove anything that's listed as armor. Okay, so now I have no armors. And I'm going to swap those two out. Valor Aloof has the melody, and I can sing with it. This is going to give me a 1d4 bonus to Charisma, Wisdom, and Intelligence saving throws. Okay, so I'm going to move this to Lae'zel. The Ring of Protection I already have. This gives me a +1 to saving throws. The last thing I'm going to do is to put on the Shapeshifter's Mask. I'm going to shapeshift into a Githyanki. I'm going to put the Ring of Protection back on, and now I'm going to put on the Aberration Hunter's Amulet. Okay. So that's it for the gear that you need to have. Somebody needs to, other than your main character who wants the buff, needs to have Valor Aloof equipped. Your main character needs to have Coralon's Grace and the Safeguard Shield, the Ring of Protection, the Aberration Hunter's Amulet. You need to be shape-shifted into a Githyanki, and you need to not be wearing any armor. You can wear clothing, which I am, just not armor. Okay. And let me look through my notes and just make sure. Okay, and then the Staff of Arcane Blessing on another party member, because this allows you to cast Mystra's Blessing. It grants a 1d4 to saving throws of all types. Okay, so this is like Bless. You can use the scroll to cast Bless. You can use a cleric to cast Bless if you have 2. But again, when we start putting on the spells here, your cleric's going to be concentrating on a spell at some point. And you don't want to remove Bless, which is concentration, to be casting Beacon of Hope later on. All right, so that's good for all of it. Now, if I just take a quick look at my standing saving throws. Okay, so I'm at +11 and +10 on my saving throws. Okay, now this is going to substantially change as we get into the room. So let's leave camp. And now preparations for this. So move your main character right into the front.
Eager for battle.
Everybody else you want stacked up as close to the Zaith'isk as you can get them.
Don't linger.
What's next?
There's a reason for this.
This way.
And that's because we're going to start casting spells here. Some of these spells have a turn limit, and because of that turn limit, you want everybody to be in conversation with the Zaith'isk. You'll see the conversation bubbles pop up over here. If you have one of your party members back here, they won't be in conversation, and if they've cast one of those spells, that spell timer might run out before you've finished it. Now, you can rush your way through the conversation here with the Zaith'isk and just get to the saving throws, and that won't matter. We'll kind of play that by ear as we get into the conversation here. So the first thing that I want to do is cast things that do not have a timer, right? And the first one of those is Warding Bond. Okay, now Warding Bond
Nothing hurts anymore.
has added a +1 to my saving throws. The next thing I'm going to do is I should have at least one elixir of heroism in my inventory. Okay, so I'm going to drink this with my main character. This lasts until long rest. And now I have a +3 from the elixir of heroism. Okay, now this stacks with bless. For some reason, the game has coded them differently than the bless spell. So I guess because this says blessed or something in the tag of it, it says blessed here, but it should be the same bless condition. For some reason, it just isn't. And this will stack with Mistress Grace, bless, on the character. Okay. So now that I've got those two done, I also have resistance on my main character, who's going to be the one to cast it. And now I'm going to get into turn-based mode. And now I want to start casting things that have turn limits on them. Okay, so you don't have to cast some of these now, but I'm going to. So the first thing I'm going to do, which is going to last 10 turns, is I'm going to cast resistance on myself. Okay, so now my saving throws are a max here of 16 and 15. Now I'm going to have Lae'zel sing with the sword.
Wretched thing, pull yourself together.
Now my saving throws are a max of 18 and 17, because again, remember, the singing sword is a 1d4. It's telling me that I have either a 2 or a 4, depending upon the average, which is 2.5. The last thing I'm going to do is have Astarion use Mistra's Blessing.
Looking ahead.
And now my saving throws are a max of 20 and 19 here. Okay, or an average of 20 and 19, which already puts us over the 18, but again, they're averages, because Bless and the Singing Sword and are 1d4 checks. Okay, so I could roll a 1, could roll a 4. And now I'm gonna wait on Shadowheart. Actually, I mean, I don't have to. I guess I could cast it now. I can cast Beacon of Hope with Shadowheart.
Have a lot on my mind.
And now if I look at it, 20 and 19, but I have advantage on both intelligence saving throws from aberration hunters and wisdom saving throws from Beacon of Hope. And now I'm going to just watch and make sure everybody goes into conversation here with the Zaith'isk. And everybody had the conversation bubbles.
Made of taut
Oh, you're right. I didn't do it,
metal.
Lord Henry.
It waits for something.
The Zaith'isk.
I forgot.
Lack its purity distilled.
So I'm taking a chance here.
My duty. My right.
I'm not gonna be able to get out of this because everybody's in conversation. I forgot, and it for some reason it was. I don't even have it on my list here. So I forgot a +3. So I'm taking a chance here. I'm now going to be down to 80%, give or take, or 85%, give or take, on this check because I did not activate the Paladin's aura. I don't like that about the game, that you have to activate the aura. Not used to doing that in tabletop. Where you have to activate an aura doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But yes, you have to go activate the aura of protection. And I did not do that. So I do have inspirations here. Hopefully we'll be okay. But we'll go through it. Now for this, you need to tell Lae'zel you're going first.
I will not. I gave you my might. You will respect my charge. You walk the line between confident and arrogant. A beguiling turn of events. Go on, into the Zaith'isk. I will follow.
The device is strange, made of taut flesh and pockmarked metal. It waits for something. You feel your parasite stir. Your body grows cold, its warmth sapped by the cold metal seat. The machine awakens. Layers of magic weave themselves tightly around your head. The tadpole squirms and contracts. It's trying to hide. You realize the device is hunting your parasite, but it's doing so blindly. Without direction, your faculties could be permanently damaged. Your skull groans and bends under the pressure. Then, agony.
Okay, so here's your first saving throw, and it's intelligence-based. Now, this is a DC 12. I can roll a minimum of 16 here. It would be a minimum of 19 if the Paladin aura was active. So the only way I can fail this is with double nat once.
Through waves of torment, you search for the parasite's lurking presence. The device searches too. You sense its hunger, its craving. It wants the tadpole, but maybe something more.
This torment. You must persist. You must be cleansed.
The parasite burrows deeper, sinking its teeth into your brain's exposed tissue. It sucks greedily. You feel yourself ebbing away, while the parasite only grows stronger. It's evolving.
Here's your second saving throw. This is going to be wisdom-based. We're at 15 as a minimum. This is a DC of 15. So even without the Paladin aura here, we are still only able to fail this with double nat ones.
The device yearns for the creature, for every part of you tainted by its presence. You will be consumed. The tadpole quivers. A different magic is building within it. This one is ancient. Rotten.
No. No more.
And here is your last saving throw. And again, this can be based upon your class. So I have Constitution. This is coming from my cleric. I have a cleric or a wizard saving throw that I can get here again based upon my class. We're going to go with intelligence again, which is the wizard saving throw. And now my total bonus is 16 at a minimum. So again, this is a DC 18. If I roll a 2, I still pass it. So again, even without the Paladin aura, I can still only fail this with double nat ones. If I was rolling the wisdom check, which is 1 point lower, then I could roll it with any combination of 1 or 2 and not pass it. But with intelligence being 1 point higher, I can now pass this except with double nat ones.
Into the tadpole's putrid magic. Its strength multiplied. It unleashes on the machine. The two forces fuse violently together, your brain their conduit. Your body and mind drift apart. You are being undone.
Enough!
The room swims back into focus. Your mind is intact, yet unfamiliar. Inside it, the tadpole lives on, and you feel different.
No! I followed the protocol! I must be cleansed!
Incredible. Your parasite is even stronger now.
And now here, if we look at our list, we have the Awakened passive feature. So now all of our Illithid powers can be used as bonus action, and your resistance to the to the Zaith'isk has awakened this power. Okay, so now if we look down here at Survival Instinct, where it was previously an action, it's now a bonus action. Okay, so an incredibly powerful usage here, and with some prepping, it's not that hard to get to. In this case, I didn't need the Paladin aura, and again, just to illustrate that...
Enough waiting. I crave blood.
It's right here. You have to turn this on here by clicking on it. And now everyone within 3 meters of you gains the aura of protection, and it's giving me a +3. Okay. So now if you look, my saving throws here, and now I've had some things run out on the timers. The Bless is gone, the Shriek is gone. So all of that stuff, this would be up to 23 and 22 as an average. I don't have to pass anything higher than an 18. So that would have guaranteed that no matter which of the checks that I use, either intelligence or wisdom, the only way I could have failed it would be with with double nat ones. Now, I didn't look to see what my important dice were, so I rolled a 12 and a 4. So either way, if I would have rolled a double nat 1 on any of those saving throws and failed it, then even a portent die of 4, re-rolling that one of those 1s to a 4 would have given me enough to pass the saving throws. And this is why I recommend choosing a divination wizard when you're doing your wizard respec, because the dice roll is going to give you a 99.25% chance of passing it. Since you cannot roll a 1 on your portent dice, this gives you a 100% chance of passing all of your saving throws. The only way it's not going to work is if you roll double nat 1s on the first check and you had to use one of your portent dice, then you rolled double nat 1s on the second check and had to use the other dice, and then rolled double nat 1s on the last one. That would be 6 nat 1s in a row, and the chances of that happening are, we're getting into scientific terminology to describe how minuscule that number is, but it's got a -6 exponent on top of it, so it's incredibly hard for that to happen. It's still technically not 100%, like I said, but it is so vanishingly small that it's not going to come into play here. So that's kind of why I say there's never a 100% chance, but it's even a lot less than 99 or 0.25% chance of failing it. It is a minuscule amount if you choose. Yes, there you go, Rudy. So it is 1 over 6.4 million, or 1 over 64 million, which is a, when you look at it as a percent, is a -6 exponent on the top. So yes, the chances are incredibly small of it happening. It's still non-zero, but yeah, it's 100% for all intents and purposes if you've chosen a divination wizard, because these do apply, as it says, to saving throws. Okay, it's only going to pop up and ask you though if you fail it. So I hope that gives you a decent guide for how to get through the Zaith'isk with what is effectively a 100% chance of passing it. That combination of items and respecs and gear is not in any one guide. It's actually a combination of 3 different guides, 2 from content creators and 1 on the wiki, that I have put together myself to guarantee that you're going to have 100%. The thing that people tend to leave out is the divination wizard part, which I think is a great backup just in case you do roll that double nat 1. So now from here, let's quickly talk to Lae'zel.
Skvar! The Zaith'isk. It might have killed you. I felt your torment. The Gustil tampered with it. Traitor! And there may be more still. This must be why the Inquisitors come. Vlaakith does not abandon Githyanki. The Zaith'isk was tampered with. There is no other explanation. Now hurry. We must go to the Chirai and inform him of the Doctor's sedition.
Okay, and now we're going to reset our party here. And to do that, we're going to head back to camp.
Someone there? This way. Be very, very quiet. Don't mind if I do.
All's well that ends. Not as bad as it could have.
Thy wheel of fate. Dost thou require a new
If this was
ally?
any other fight than what I'm about to go into, I would completely redo my build here
As thou desire.
and start me down the path of the permanent build that I'm going to have. Unfortunately, for this fight, I want the extra attack from my Bard, which means I'm going to have to take my Bard to level 6 to get it. I definitely want to have Minor Illusion as a cantrip for this fight. As far as my spells go, don't worry about anything for now. On my ability scores, this is where I want. Okay, now on this one, I do not have Auntie Ethel's hair. Remember that. So when I go through this, my charisma is going to have to stay 17 for now because there's a specific feat that I'm going to take to prepare for this fight as well. So I'm sacrificing a little bit of my build to prepare for in a very specific way for a fight that I'm about to have. So my skills here all stay the same. For my level up at the start, everything is fairly similar to what we've seen. Level 2, doesn't matter what you select for a spell, we're just going to replace it. Level 3 is very important for us. First is the skill change. I'm going to change both of these off because I'm going to be going with Actor as a feat later on. I'm not going to do it right now, but a respec will have Actor, which is going to get me a +2 to Deception and Performance. So I put the +2 in Intimidation and Persuasion, so I have +7 on all of them. The others, I'm just increasing Acrobatics so I don't get shoved as easy, and Perception and Survival are just useful. My college is, of course, Swords, Dueling. For my spell here, I want Invisibility. And for my replacing spell, I'm getting rid of that spell I just picked, and I'm taking Enhance Ability. So since I do not have Auntie Ethel's hair, normally I would take Actor here. That would give me a +1 to Charisma, get it up to 18, and give me proficiency in Deception and Performance. However, I'm not going to do that because I need Alert in this fight. I want the +5 bonus to Initiative, or things can get a little hectic. Okay? Now, they're not going to... I don't expect to have it be seriously bad, even if I roll low on Initiative. But Alert is going to be a huge help when I do this. For my spells, I'm going to have Cloud of Daggers. I would not normally take this, but I'm going to take it for this one. For my cantrips, it doesn't really matter. Now, at level 5, this would be as far as I would take it for now, because the Font of Inspiration is what you need. It gets your Bardic Inspirations back after a short rest, not just a long rest. So level 5 is where I would stop, and here I definitely need to take Glyph of Warding. Okay, I'm not going to replace any spells. I might replace a spell if I was stopping here at Bard, but since I'm not, because at level 6, this is where I get my extra attack from College of Swords. And I want this for the encounter that I'm about to have. For Bard level 7, it gains me access to level 4 spells, which again I talked about previously. I don't really need this very much, but I don't necessarily need anything else out of my multi-class right now, because nothing I get out of multi-classing to Warlock is going to give me a huge benefit with just one level of it. There's not a whole lot that's to be gained out of it. So I will go ahead and do it, but again, there's not a whole lot to be gained. Those two are great cantrips. The great old one, and for my spells, jeez, click, 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 click. Hex and Hellish Rebuke. These are the only benefits that I get out of this one level here, is being able to have a damage writer and a reaction to do some fire damage. Have Astarion come back.
Go. Just like old times. Nice candy from in there.
We'll respec Lae'zel.
Alas, time for chatter.
Fate spins along as it should. Dost thou require a new as thou desire?
Now for Lae'zel here, I'm going to do something a little different just for this fight here. And like I say, kind of bear with me a little bit because it gets a little strange and not something I would do. I'm actually going to start off with Paladin again. All right, for my ability scores here, Charisma is going to be useful, but with Paladin, I'm really interested in the damage writer for radiant damage that goes along with your divine strikes. And for that, I don't need a huge charisma bonus out of it. I want to focus more on making sure that I have my constitution and dexterity up, so I have higher hit points and I'm getting a bonus to roll in the initiative order here. Okay, that's what I'm more interested in doing. As far as the skills, I don't care. This gets me access to my Divine Smites. For my fighting style here, I'm going to pick Defense. Defense gets me a flat +1 bonus to armor class. I'm going to be able to pick Great Weapon Fighting through the Fighter that I do later on. And for my prepared spells, the things that are important for me in this are being able to add damage writers. Okay, that's what the important part here is. Now, Psychic Damage Writer is not going to be useful in the fights in here because most of the a lot of the high-level Githyanki are resistant to it. Okay, but Thunder Damage, adding additional Radiant damage through Divine Favor, and Fire Damage can be useful as damage writers. Okay, at level 3, I'm going to gain Vow of Enmity. This allows me to gain advantage on attack rolls against a specific enemy. Okay, I can also gain this through other ways, though. And we've talked about those ways before. So on my fighting style, I'm going to go with Great Weapon Fighting. This basically allows me to reroll 1s or 2s on my damage. This gets me Action Surge. Level 3 is my subclass, which is going to stay Battlemaster. And out of my 3 maneuvers here, So again, we have options to give us advantage on our attacks. So we don't necessarily need Vow of Enmity to do it. In gaining that additional level out of Paladin. We have other ways to do it. So I definitely want Riposte to get the most out of my reaction here. I want Disarming Attack. And between these two, I'm going to take the Fainting Attack. Level 4, we're going to get our feet. Or our feet here. Taking Great Weapon Master. And at level 5, I gain my Fighter Extra Attack. Last but not least, we're going to bring Gale back into the party.
Already feeling better.
Not the resounding success we were hoping for. Still, the price of ambition is occasionally catastrophic failure. At least our skulls remain intact. Oh, nothing would give me greater pleasure. Witch back in the thick of things at last. Oh, how exciting.
Okay, now Gale's going to have a little bit of an issue with Shovel being shown twice. There's a fake Shovel here, basically. He will disappear once you restart the game. Or not restart, but once you save and reload, he will disappear. If you remove him from your party and Shovel is still out, you're going to come back with 2 shovels at the end of the day. So we'll kind of deal with that for now, but next week it'll be gone. No. Okay, so let's go redo our gear here. So the Safeguard Shield, going back to Gale. Lae'zel, going to re-equip the Silver Sword. Astarion is not going to have anything. Myself, I'm going to re-equip the Adamantine Shield. For my necklace, the Spectator's Eyes go on. The Robe of Summer, I can send to camp. The Helldusk Armor goes back on. Okay, and now everybody should be back to where they were. Just quickly looking, yes. All right, because now we're going to go get into a fight. Okay, so we'll move this back to Astarion so that we're not overloaded. And I want to make sure I have a potion of invisibility on my character. I do.
What a day.
Never a dull moment.
Okay.
Walk in
And
death.
now we're going to head out to the Inquisitor. There are some other things that you can do. You can have a bunch of other conversations in here and that sort of stuff. Nothing that's going to gain you any significant amounts of XP or anything like that. Even all of your conversations here in the nursery, it's not really useful. On the other side, you have the captain's quarters. We're going to go in a second, but we are going to go over here. And I actually forgot about this. I wouldn't have done my respec until I had done this.
I'm sure they'd be happy to translate.
Okay, and that's object near here. The Quartermistress. For this, we need to do a respec, and this is my fault. I apologize. I'll go through this quickly. I forgot about this, or I wouldn't have done my respec until I had walked over here.
Time for discretion. Delightful. A little chicanery. So
Okay.
you're coming with me.
Thank you.
No one stopped me yet. I should speak up.
Thy will dost thou require, as thou dost.
We're going to leave it as Bard. All of my abilities and everything stay as I chose them last time. That's because we need to raise her attitude to 100.
Ugh, blood, rust, scar. Is there no odious substance not smeared on this delivery? I'd heard this plane was disgusting, but I didn't think it would be like this. Most metals here fold like istics, much like istics themselves. But if you're so keen to extol their virtues, you can pay accordingly.
Okay, and here's her barter screen. Now, a couple of things about the items here. The Unseen Menace is not a guaranteed role in her inventory. You may come in here the first time and not see the Unseen Menace. It's a very important weapon to have, but you may not see it. So if you don't see it, level up once and go back into her inventory again. Okay. She has some really important items in here. The Defender Flail gives you a +1 to armor class by itself. Very few weapons add +1 to armor class, so if you're really looking to boost that up, this is a way to do it. The Knife of the Undermountain King is just great. This is definitely part of your crit builds. Your number you need to roll a crit is reduced by 1. It can stack. You also have advantage on attack rolls against lightly or heavily obscured targets, and it is a +2 short sword, so light and finesse, you can dual wield it. Larethian's Wrath, nothing real special about it until you look at the proficiency unlock Razor Gale. This does a lot of damage for a weapon, and it hits everything in a 4-meter radius around you. You can use it once per short rest. It needs an attack roll for every enemy it goes after, but if you're surrounded by enemies, like I could have stood out there in the middle of all of the Gremishkas and let them all cluster up around me, and then use Larethian's Wrath to hit all of them at the same time. Okay, so Larethian's Wrath can be very, very useful. It's also one of those rare finesse longswords, like Felar Aluv is, so it uses dexterity instead of strength for your hit and damage. The other things that are here is, again, the Witchbreaker. You gain advantage on attack rolls against concentrating enemies, which can be situationally useful, and it comes with Hush You. This is a once per short rest ability to possibly silence a target. Now the DC on this is low, it's a DC 10, so the chances of somebody passing it are pretty good and not being silenced, but still, it's a chance, just like the Susser Dagger. And then Unseen Menace. Unseen Menace, the weapon is invisible while equipped. It loses this property for 2 rounds whenever you miss an attack. Well, you go, well, what does invisible do? Invisible means that you can't be disarmed, you have advantage on all attack rolls, and it scores a crit when you roll a 19. So this is the first part of your Polar Master Sentinel Fighter build, in that this guarantees you advantage on attack rolls, it lowers your crit hit chance, and you have the ability here, since it's a pike, to use it as Polar Master to gain all of the advantages that go along with people coming toward you to attack you, using the pommel of it to inflict damage and all that sort of stuff. It's a great weapon. Just don't miss out on the fact that it's here because it might not show up the first time. The Vital Conduit boots, whenever you concentrate on a spell, you gain 8 temporary hit points. Very, very nice. We're actually going to use those on the build I have right now. Daredevil gloves, whenever you're up next to somebody and you're threatened, your ranged spell attacks are counted as melee, which means you do not have disadvantage because they're too close. It can be very useful for that Eldritch Blast build that you're doing, where someone might approach you close and now your spell attack rolls are just normal. They don't have disadvantage. Last are the Gloves of Dexterity. It sets your ability score to 18, and it gives you +1 to all your attack rolls. So there's a bunch of really good stuff here that you want to buy from her. And it's all expensive. So we're going to raise that up to 100.
On your way, then.
We're going to do a quick level up. But we're going to save a couple of level ups at the end. Okay, again. I'm taking alert here again. Now here I'm going to exit out. And just make sure that I have Unseen Menace in her inventory. I do. I'm just going to buy it straight up.
Watch your step.
I'm only short a little bit on my persuasion because of that. And make sure I've got Glyph of Warding. Got my extra attack. Then at level 7, I'm switching to Warlock. Now I'm going to buy all of this stuff. I don't normally buy a Witchbreaker. Okay, everything else is just normal. So you can see how much gold it is for her, or to purchase these things. So that's why you definitely want to up her attitude to 100 before you go in here. We're going to actually pick these up.
Watch your step.
Okay, and now these are definitely going into Astarion's bag. The arrows and many targets are going to be very useful for this. Erethian's Wrath I'm not going to need right now. Unseen Menace. Going to go to Karlach. The Vital Conduit boots are going to go on me. Daredevil gloves, I don't need yet. The Gloves of Dexterity, I do have a use for, but not for this particular fight. Okay, I still have the potion of invisibility here. So yes, I think I am good. I want the berries here on Lae'zel. Okay. So I think we're now ready. So let's head out of here and we will head right across to the captain's quarters. And we're going to go get into a fight against a legendary enemy. And it is a tricky fight. I am not going to lie.
I think we all will, when this pestilent search is finally over.
Please, Chitrai, I can explain. The latest patrol have not returned. I'm sorry,
Quiet. Find the astral prism, Therazin. My patience falters.
Yes, Chitrai. You heard him! Go!
Do as she says. She remains your Kithrak. For now.
Okay, so we're going to head into the room here. And we're going to talk to the Kithrak.
An Istik in my creche. You are one of the mercenaries sent to bring the weapon.
The Istik is with me, honored Kithrak.
So noted. But my question goes unanswered. Do you bring the weapon?
Don't tell her anything.
You are well informed. My creche discovered the same. We know infected flock to Moonrise Towers. I reported the gathering masses back to Tunarath. In response, they sent an Inquisitor. Instead of ordering an assault, we were told to join in this mad hunt for an ancient relic. Meanwhile, illithid sickness spreads right in front of us. It is small, angular, metal, adorned with Tirsu script, stolen by true soul heretics.
You realize she seeks the artifact you carry.
What was that look? You know something. Do you have it?
Okay, now I'm going to choose a different way here.
Give it to me.
And I'm going to produce the artifact.
No. No! Yes. There it is. Exactly as described. The Inquisition will finally come to an end. Trickery? Heresy? How did you... You manipulate it when I cannot? It appears you have been chosen, Istik. You are lucky. It is not for me to question why. Go, seek the Inquisitor below, and take the cursed thing with you.
That's going to get us access to the Inquisitor without any checks or without a fight. I don't want to have a fight in here. I want to save all of my action economy for the Inquisitor.
Follow the corridor. Let's have a look.
This place is even more foreboding than the rest of the creche.
It's unnerving. This place makes my skin crawl.
I hope, no, expect that Chitrai will aid us.
It's never been that simple before. I don't know why it would be now.
Yeah, David, it's not a way that most people normally do. They go through the deception check and then the persuasion check to be able to do it, which as a bard I could certainly do. But there's a much easier way to go about it. You get disapproval from Astarion, but you gain approval from Lae'zel and Gale. So it's kind of even a better way to go about it, I would say. So now the Inquisitor's chamber. You can see we're red border, so we can't fast travel out of here. But we're going to go do something first. We are not going to approach the Inquisitor. Once we get our party in here, they're going to close the doors behind us. One of these warriors is going to walk over and close the door. Okay.
Our esteemed guest, please approach. We have much to discuss.
The Inquisitor wants us to talk to him. I am not going to yet. I'm going to jump down here. Head into this room, and I'm going to be very careful about what I touch in here. Okay, now both of the statues have illuminated. You read the plaque here.
Lathander blesses the rising bountiful sun.
So the sun rises in the east, which you can see from our compass is to the right. Okay. And now for the other one.
Lathander bids the setting sun a fond farewell.
That's west, which again is to the right. And there's a hidden athletics check. That DC
Look what you've been hiding.
is 25. So I didn't expect to pass it. It's a really hard one to pass. If you don't pass it, there's a reason that you found grease bottles laying around out there. And remember the note we picked up that's talked about greasing the statues? If you fail it and it's stuck, stand back and throw a grease bottle at the statue base. Don't throw it at the statue. Throw it at the statue base. When it lands, it will grease the statue, and then you can turn it. Okay? So you should have plenty of grease bottles laying around by now. Like I say, there were 2 of them laying around out in the monastery to pick up. So save one of them for throwing it at the statue.
All right.
And now I'm going to continue on through this room.
Best be on my way.
And this is going to update the quest to find the Blood of Lathander. So an important thing that just happened. The red border is gone. If you get low on action economy through trying to fight your way out of the creche, you can come to this hallway or the secret stairway down here, and you can take a long rest. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now we're going to destroy these energy sources. And you can see the extra radiant damage I'm getting from Morninglord's glory. I'm going to put on the rest of my thief gear. Whoops.
Tread lightly.
And I'm going to click on the near side of the Dawnbreaker here. These things actually used to turn off in the past. There was a way to turn them off. I'm not entirely sure what triggered it, but I know after you picked up the Blood of Lathander, in the past they used to turn off. I haven't been here in so long that I don't know when it changed. But now they stay active. So you can make it through here by jumping around them. But they don't automatically turn off anymore. Which is weird to me. Like I say, I don't know when that changed. Nope. I thought I got it off. So, a pathing thing. Again, it seems I can't go a single episode without getting pissed off about pathing in this game. I clicked on the left side here. Astarion walked all the way around the front and triggered it. Okay.
Still in control. Just.
Now that does two things. It just pisses me off. But I'm not gonna complain. There's a way to avoid it. I was taking it for granted that the game wasn't going to bug out on pathing, and I should know better than that. That's exactly right, Ivan. Like I say, there's a way. I'm not gonna get mad. I say what I said about pathing. I've talked about pathing in this game and how horrifically bad it is multiple times, so I'm not going to say it again. So yes, I should have known that the game's pathing is going to be stupid and went into turn-based mode. That's what I should have done.
Trust no one.
Again, it is what it is. I've talked about the pathing before, so... It's just upsetting that I have to constantly keep it in the back of my mind that the pathing in this game is so stupid that I need to work around it. See, that's what he should have done last time. But no, the game for some reason decided he wanted to walk him out front. So, like I say. Yeah, my deaths so far have been wholly related to pathing. I haven't lost anybody to an enemy. My deaths have been falling off the roof in the goblin camp and this. It's like I say, it's just so dumb. It's just so dumb.
Shall we?
And now destroy this last energy source. Because what that did is it removed Morninglord's Radiance from him.
At least things have stayed interesting. Time to press ahead.
So once we get here, we'll... throw all of this on. But yeah, I'm going to miss that 1d4 radiant damage. I hope it won't hurt me too bad. And here's the Blood of Lathander. Now, don't just go up and grab the Blood of Lathander. Okay? If you do, that is going to start the timer. And that is what this energy source is about. As well as these braziers are going to raise up out of the ground, and you're going to have to shoot energy crystals to disarm the lance. And like I say, it can be a difficult challenge to do, especially when in honor mode they've reduced the turn limit. But instead, click on the crest panel. And insert the Dawnmaster's crest. Okay, now, the Blood of Lathander is a legendary weapon. So once per long rest, when your hit points are reduced to 0, you gain 2d6 hit points. Allies within 9 meters also gain 1d6 hit points. So it's like an improved death ward, is what it does. It also sheds holy light in a 6-meter radius. Fiends and undead in that light are blinded unless they succeed a Constitution saving throw. In Act 2, this weapon is incredibly useful. It's a +3 weapon all by itself, but the only reason I'm equipping it right now is for the Sunbeam. So a beam of brilliant light sears and blinds all creatures in its path for 10 turns, and it does 6d8 radiant damage. Now that goes for 18 meters, so it's a long ranged attack, and it works very similar to Lightning Bolt. So the width of it and how it goes in a straight line out is very similar to Lightning Bolt. I probably am not going to have an opportunity where I need to use it, but it does not cost me an action to unequip it. And if I do want to use it, I have it. I can use Sunbeam, and then I can unequip it afterwards. Okay? So now let's go get into a fight. And this fight can go either very good or very bad. There's no in between here.
The monks must have treasure.
Hey.
Is that such a surprise? It looks powerful enough to level him.
Now you can see we still have Warding Bond on. Okay, from when Shadowheart cast it on us previously. Shadowheart is in camp, but right now I am still benefiting from the resistance to all damage. Okay, and that includes psychic resistance. Psychic resistance is incredibly important during this fight. So the elixirs of psychic resistance that I specifically purchased for this set of combat here have been in my inventory just waiting to be used. And this is where I'm going to use them. So Lae'zel, now Lae'zel is also resistant to psychic damage. She's resistant to that because of the Githborn psionic resistance. Right? Yes, it's just not listed in here. But she's resistant by default to psychic damage. Okay, I'm resistant here, my bard. Where I'm not resistant to it is on Gale and on Astarion, but Astarion has the elixir of Hill Giant strength on. So Gale is going to be the one that I want to benefit from it. Now, Astarion is going to have an interesting time here. I'm going to decide whether I want to change this out. Oh, that all went to another thing I hate. I'm going to decide whether I want to have him drink one of those once I get into combat. It depends on how this goes and how difficult this fight turns as to whether or not I'm going to have Astarion sacrifice the extra damage for the extra damage resistance. Okay. So that gets us where we need to be here. Make sure you have a potion of invisibility. Well, I'm going to make sure I have a potion of invisibility.
Ready and willing.
And I'm going to take this time to bring Shovel out, even though I probably won't use him.
No one stopped me yet.
Okay, Shovel's in hiding. I'm going to break my group. I don't need to be in hiding.
How much farther can I go?
And I forgot. For this, I want click heals available to me.
Vlaakith's power is endless.
Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is start laying out the battlefield. And the first way I'm going to do that is with Glyph of Warding. Now, I'm going to go with cold damage here for this, but really any of the damage types is going to be useful. But I don't want them to be pushed backwards like you can with thunder damage. I want everybody to stay in place. Now, the Inquisitor is going to get a little upset with you when you cast this.
Here we go again.
Magical ward is greeted with fear. If you're caught again, there could be trouble.
But other than that, there's nothing. And that's going to stay there because none of them are red icons. They are just yellow icons. So the ward is not detonating yet because they're not hostile. So now I want to see where I can reach. With my minor illusion. So I can do it all the way from back here. So now before I do that, I'm going to take my potion of invisibility and I'm going to throw it out here in front of me. Okay, and now I'm going to cast minor illusion into the center of the ward, and I'm going to keep casting it over and over until I get all of them standing on the ward. Once they're all standing on the ward, I'm going to go into turn-based mode. So now all of them are going to be hit by the ward when it goes off. I'm going to step forward into the potion of invisibility. And I'm going to get off a slashing flourish ranged here. I can... Actually, now that I think about it, I may just instead... do a standard range attack with my Arrow of Ice, because I might be able to hit multiples here. And yes, I can. Okay, so that gets me a surprise round to begin with. The Wargaz cannot be surprised. Okay. The other thing that does is it causes a bunch of damage, but does not trigger his Mind Claws on that first round. Okay. So, two things about Wargaz here. He has legendary resistance. He has this on tactician mode as well. So he's got a +10 bonus to his next saving throw. He can use this 3 times. Okay. He's already used it once. So he has 2 more times left of its use. But he also has a legendary action, the Mind Claw of Tuneroth. Twice per round, he can use a legendary action to summon a Mind Claw of Tuneroth after he or his allies are struck. That means whenever they have damage caused to them, he can summon one of these Mind Claws. When the claw strikes, Wargaz may Mind Steel link with the target if it's not already Mind Steel linked. With a Mind Steel link, I have a -2 to my armor class, and I'm vulnerable to psychic damage. However, because I'm resistant to psychic damage, that offsets. So I'm no longer taking double damage because I'm resistant from it. I'm just taking regular damage from Mind Steel Link, and that's important. The Mind Claw of Tuneroth is actually a floating sword made of psychic energy, and it hits hard. And it hits with additional psychic damage. They can also fly, just like your cleric's spiritual weapon, and they can fly all the way across the stupid map. I mean, it is horrific how much movement speed they have. So don't expect to try and get away from the Mind Claws. It's just not going to work. So when he spawns them, they stay spawned until he dies. Once he dies, they die. So I don't suggest going after the Mind Claws. Go after him instead. Okay? So what we're going to do now with our bonus action is, again, he doesn't have any resistances, so I'm going to apply Hex to him. That's going to spawn a Mind Claw, and I'm going to end my turn. That was expected. I saved against it, which is great. And now all of them are surprised. That means they don't move, which is important for me because I'm going to drop another Glyph of Warding right on top of everybody. Now this is going to provoke an attack of opportunity here, so I might as well provoke it right now. Okay. And this thing is going to detonate immediately. That's going to spawn another Mind Claw. So I'm going to provoke. Actually, I'm going to click heals. And I'm going to provoke this attack of opportunity. Okay, I don't really care about that. Okay, and now I'm going to move all the way down here. Actually, I'm going to stop right here. And end my turn again.
Impressive resistance.
They're hitting me really well for having a 26 armor class. And look how far that thing can fly. I mean, it's stupid how far the thing can fly. Okay, so a couple of things that I want to do here. The first, I would really like to proc another one. I'd have to walk all the way out there though, so... Sorry, give me just a second. The adrenaline's going here, so I just want to make sure I'm thinking through all of this. So... He's got 4 hit points left. So he's dead anyway. Let's provoke the attack of opportunity. We're going to move here, and we're going to cast Cloud of Daggers right here in the doorway. And now I'm going to move around the corner. And end my turn. Actually, I might as well use my healing word here.
In Vlaakith's name!
And he can jump all the way across the map, and these things can fly all the way across the map. Alright. So now they are nice and lined up here.
Ready. Step carefully.
Let's see if I can reach any of them with Sunbeam. So I can get 2 of them right now. The warrior and the Chirai, which is good. Let's actually see if I can move to the other side of this. Maybe I can get the sword as well. Doesn't look like I can. We're just going to drop this. Okay, so Chirai's down to 96.
I'm a wizard, not a camp burglar. Step by step.
Okay, so can I get anything up there without him walking up the stairs? Is the important question. Now, he's an evocation wizard. I'm pretty sure. Oh, he's only level 2, so he doesn't have his subclass. So... yeah, I can get this up here without moving. And that would hit them both.
Ready for anything. Not one false move.
I would love it if I'm able to walk up here. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it, but we'll try. Oof, I was able to. Actually, I think I actually want to be back down there. I think I want to save her. There's a reason for that. Let's take her back down here. Leave her at the bottom.
What now?
Okay, now for me, we want to proc the swords on me. Okay? So we're just going to move out here. And do slashing flourish ranged. We will proc Luck of the Far Realms. Okay, that's going to proc another sword. And it procced it right in front of me. So I can't shoot past it. So it's so messed up. I can't shoot a slashing flourish in there, but I can shoot a regular ranged attack in there. Okay. Oh, it's moving me over to do it. Okay. Well, if I'm going to do that, let's provoke the attack of opportunity now. Now let's see if I can do a slashing flourish. Now I can. Okay, now I'm going to move again back around the corner. This is going to provoke 2 attacks of opportunity. And this is why you have that armor class. Okay, deflect missiles. I'll throw those back. See, look how far that is. Trying to keep her out of it, and the thing flew all the way across the world. Okay. So where are we at? 4 hit points. So let's start removing some of these people from the field here. Come on. That should kill him. Should kill this guy. Okay, it hit him instead. I want to kill him. So let's see if I can get an arrow through there or not. Oh, yeah, I can't on my second attack. And I can't, no, I can throw these.
And away I go.
And now again, move around the corner. Come through there. Yeah, he's just not moving through the cloud of daggers, which is really nice for me. I will take that every day of the week. I'm going to Misty Step up here with Lae'zel. And let's see if we can end the Chirai here. 45%. It's going to move her all the way up there, so let's not do that. So it just can't get by all the swords. It looks like. Okay, I saw it. There it is.
In my best interest.
Only a 20% chance, but there's no reason not to take it. Outstanding.
Inquisitor Wargas was potent. We are impressed.
My queen. Skathzai.
You are permitted to look upon me. You are invited to kneel.
The Deathless Queen has spoken. You will obey.
Now, it's really funny to wave politely. It's hilarious. It gets you disapproval from Lae'zel, so I'm just going to kneel here and gain approval from her.
These attendants you keep, you taught them well, my child. My Lae'zel.
Chma Zalav Lakith. You know me.
Erlon of Kalir speaks most highly, as did Achaya before. You seek purity. I may yet grant it. Istik, you bear that which is ours. But are you friend, or are you thief? Your utility is proven, but your heroism is yet to be witnessed. A test, then, to see if you are as capable as you profess to be. That weapon you carry, the astral prism, it is corrupted.
I will cleanse it for you, my queen. Tell me how.
There is someone inside. Their mind is warped, broken, a blight. They are an agent of the Grand Design, sent to sabotage the Astral Prism. Our last defense against the return of the Illithid Empire. As long as they live, the prison is compromised. Kill them! Do this, and I will cleanse you and your allies. Do this, and ascend!
Ascension. My queen. An honor gained. A burden borne. You must accept. Refuse, and you will know my fury.
Perhaps I misheard. You would not speak ill of a god, would you?
Do not test her. She will be our ruin.
Obey, my child, and be forgiven. Use the Planecaster's power to enter the artifact. Be wary of the creature's lying tongue. Cut it out if you must. You will not leave this room until it is done.
Shma Zalav Lakith. We will not waste a second. Lakith has spoken. Do not leave this room except to enter the prism. Turn your back on me, and you will feel my blade against it.
Okay, and
keep a blade close.
Just real quickly, since we have a potion on the ground,
Let's.
might as well use it to heal Astarion. Okay. This came from some of the chests and stuff like that that was left on the ground.
Mind never quiet.
After the fight. Or because of the cloud of daggers killing the barrels and that sort of stuff. So, Shovel must be still hiding. He is. Okay, so you got a little bit extra today because of the fight. I definitely didn't want to skip that. I wanted to do that this week. So that all in all went relatively well. We got a big bunch of burst damage at the start. We were able to contain the Chirai and not let him get right up next to us to really beat us up with his greatsword. And we managed to take him out before his Mind Claws were able to do much damage. So all in all, we kind of reached into the bag of tricks there with Glyph of Warding, the Invisibility Potion, and then throwing of Smoke Powder Bombs to be able to get to him. And that's kind of what you have to start thinking outside the box a little bit. In Honor Mode, you're no longer just click main hand attack or click ranged attack to deal with enemies. You have to start thinking a little bit more creatively if you want the best outcomes out of it. Now, you can certainly go in there and point click all day long. Things might end up going badly, they might end up going okay, but the chances are that you're going to be much better off if you start pre-planning and thinking outside the box a little bit. And I think this fight showed that really, really well. So this gets us to a great place to end the stream. We're going to head into the Planecaster immediately because, yes, if you leave this room out the doors, Lae'zel will leave your party. So you want to go into the Planecaster. We are going to immediately do that, and then we're going to search all of this room because there's some really great items in here that are going to help some of our builds and some future builds that we're going to have. So a great point to wrap things up today. So thank you all for being here. I apologize if my voice is still a little bit messed up from COVID. Hopefully by next week things will be worked out. I hope to see you through the, or for the Paladin live stream tomorrow. And again, I hope the chat overlay has been behaving. I haven't had much of a chance to watch it, but I hope it's been doing okay. If it hasn't, please feel free to drop a comment under the video and let me know about things you would like to see changed, if it's too hard to read or if the delay is too long or whatever. Since it is a new chat overlay, I didn't have a whole lot of time to work with it, so please feel free to give me your insights on it if you have any comments or questions about it. So, as always, thank you for being here, because without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying until next time, fare thee well.